Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yeah, please. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam. Is someone gonna keep it on the TV? I just want to read. You all recently read it, but there's a nice couple of shlokas about this mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. One should follow in the footsteps of previous devotees regarding how to worship the Supreme Lord with the prescribed paraphernalia. Or one should offer worship within the heart by reciting the mantra of the personality of Godhead, who is non-different from the mantra. Anyone who thus engages in the devotional service of the Lord seriously and sincerely with his mind, words, and body, who is fixed in the activities of prescribed devotional methods, is blessed by the Lord according to his desire. Okay, so we're 4:9:24, right? We're reading from chapter 9. Daksha, Dhruva Maharaj, returns home. 4:9:24. Ishtva mam yagya hridayam yagnai pushkala dakshinai bhuktva chehasha satya ante mam samsmarishasi. Ishtva mam yagya hridayam yagnai pushkala dakshinahi bhuktva chehasha satya ante mam samsmarishyasi. Please chant.
Vishwam yagya hridayam yagai pushkala dakshina upachina shisha satya mam samsnarishyasi.
Anyone else? Ishtva, after worshipping. Mam, me. Yagna Shridayam, the heart of all sacrifices. Yagnai, by great sacrifices. Pushkala Dakshinai, comprehending distribution of great charities. Bhuktva, after enjoying. Cha, also. Iha, within the world. Ashishaha, blessings. Satya, true. Ante, at the end. Mam, me. Samsmarishasi, you will be able to remember. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. The Lord continued, I am the heart of all sacrifices. You will be able to perform many great sacrifices and also give great charities. In this way, you will be able to enjoy the blessings of material happiness in this life. And at the time of your death, you will be able to remember me. The most important factor in this verse is the Lord's instructions regarding how to remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead at the end of life. Ante Narayana Smritihi. The result of whatever we do in executing spiritual activities is successful if we can remember Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This program of constant remembrance can be disturbed by many things, but Dhruva Maharaj's life would be so pure, as assured by the Lord himself, that Dhruva would never forget him. Thus, at the time of death, he would remember the Supreme Lord, and before his death, he would enjoy this material world, not by sense gratification, but by performing great sacrifices. As stated in the Vedas, when one performs great sacrifices, he must give in charity, not only to the Brahmanas, but also to the Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. It is assured here that Dhruva Maharaj would be able to perform such sacrifices. In the age of Kali, however, great sacrifice is the performance of Sankirtan Yagya. Our Krishna conscious movement is designed to teach people, and to learn ourselves, the exact instruction of the personality of Godhead. In this way, we shall continuously perform the Sankirtan Yagya and continuously chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Then, at the end of our life, we shall certainly be able to remember Krishna, and our program of life will be successful. In this age, the distribution of prasad has replaced the distribution of money. No one has sufficient money to distribute, but if we distribute Krishna prasad as far as possible, this is more valuable than the distribution of money. Oh, I forgot to say the two prayers that we should say before reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, but I guess before talking about Srimad Bhagavatam, we can recite them anyways. Narayanam namaskritya naram trovaiva devam saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayat nashta prayasta bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki Om Jnana Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gatha Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sakrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatrubhyascha Kripasindubhya cha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Vaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Gidim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gunadina Taranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. So I'm sorry if you're all surprised that I'm not Ram Rai Prabhu, and I promise we'll pay you back tomorrow. He's saving his energy for the ecstatic kirtan tonight, so make sure you all come for that. And he'll also give the Bhagavatam class tomorrow, and he'll also give some of the Sunday feast class. So rest assured, don't worry that I'm here, and I'll try to do my best. Although, fair warning that this is now the second time in the last week that I've been asked to speak on the Bhagavatam without having really any chance to prepare. Although Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada says that we should all be ready at any minute to speak on Krishna consciousness. And so I guess it's the mercy of the Lord trying to push me and stretch and make me surrender more. So sorry you all have to deal with that. With that, we're going to speak now on the Dhruva Charita. One question for the audience: who is the best Bhagavatam speaker? Okay, Shukadev Goswami. There's more than one right answer. Sudha Goswami. Okay, Ananta Shesh is good answers. Vyasadeva. There's someone that's better. Someone that's better. There's someone that's better. Oh my gosh. No, someone better than Krishna.
Not Shiva.
But better than Shiva. The best Bhagavatam reciter. That's close. Who is Srimati Radharani in Lord Chaitanya's Leela? So I don't know. Yeah, Gadadhar Pandit. He's the best Bhagavatam reciter, and Mahaprabhu wanted to hear the Bhagavatam, so daily he would hear the Bhagavatam from Sri Gadadhar Pandit. And what parts did they hear? Did they read the 10th canto a lot? We don't hear. I mean, maybe they heard the 10th canto. Maybe, perhaps. Why not? That's Lord Chaitanya wanted to relish being in the position of the servant of Krishna. But what did they go over many times? It says in the Chaitanya Bhagavat hundreds of times. Prahlad Charita, Dhruva Charita. So my Guru Maharaj says, well, here's text and purport from the Chaitanya Bhagavat. Lord Chaitanya would hear the characteristics of Prahlad and hear the glories of Dhruva Maharaj hundreds of times, and he would attentively hear these pastimes. Purport. The characteristics of Prahlad are described Shri Shri Radha Gopajani Vallabh Ki Jai, Shri Patita Pavan Nitai Gora Hari Ki Jai. Sorry, I can see Gora Nitai. The characteristics of Prahlad are described in the 7th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and Dhruva is described in the 4th canto, where we are right now. Sri Gadadhar Pandit Goswami was the speaker, and Sri Gaur Sundar was the listener. He attentively heard topics of Prahlad and Dhruva's cultivation of devotional service from the mouth of Sri Gadadhar hundreds of times. And then my Guru Maharaj comments, so we can understand these topics never grow old. One can listen again and again and again and again. Lord Chaitanya listened hundreds of times, and some of our devotees haven't heard these pastimes even once. If they read the book Srimad Bhagavatam 2 or 3 times, or even one time, they become very proud. Here we are we see how Lord Chaitanya will listen again and again, hundreds of times. So we are hoping devotees will develop the taste and hear Srimad Bhagavatam again and again. So one reason why we can read it something, if we read a normal book 100 times, it's going to become hackneyed. It's going to become repetitive and boring. One fault of the material world, although there's a lot of beauty in the material world, the beauty is temporary and it doesn't increase. If you see something beautiful and you're able to, you just keep trying to look at it, it gets less and less beautiful. Or the same with any material sense gratification. The first time is very good, and the second time is very good. Then after you had something 100 times, it's no longer attractive. So that's why they say variety is the mother of enjoyment. So then how is it that Lord Chaitanya can hear the same pastimes? I mean, it's only a few chapters. Prahlad is quite a few chapters in the Bhagavatam, one of the bigger sections of the Bhagavatam. And Dhruva is 2 or 3 chapters here in the 4th canto. How is it that he can listen again hundreds of times and attentively at that? See, when I hear something a couple of times and I'm not like so interested, then it's hard to be attentive to it. You know, you tend to see people nodding off and falling asleep in the class. And so, because there must be some sort of variety that they're getting. It's said that things that are actually spiritual are nova yovana, are ever fresh. Krishna's beauty is ever fresh. Whenever any of the residents of Vrindavan see Krishna, it's like they've never seen him before, and he's the most beautiful that they've ever seen him. And then the next time they see him that day, same thing. It's just continuously beating it. And you need that. If you went to the spiritual world and things got boring, then like a lot of the atheists will say, oh, gee whiz, like an eternal life would suck. Like, why would you want that? Because they don't have an idea of how life could be eternal. But fortunately, we have the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the nectar of the nature of life in immortality. And one of those facts is that it's nova yovana, ever fresh. And so we're hearing about how Dhruva, he went to Suruchi and Uttanapad, his father, and wanted to sit on his father's lap, you know, and of course Suruchi, the more beautiful, more beloved, I guess, more beloved wife of Uttanapad, told him, "Oh, too bad. You have to approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead and get His mercy. Then you have to come from my womb. Then you can possibly get to sit on your father's lap," meaning that you're going to be a successor to the throne. That was essentially what was being signified by sitting on the lap, that you will be the king. And basically just telling him, you're the lesser, even though you're older than whoever, you're not going to be the king because you didn't come from me, and I'm the one who has control in this situation. And of course, Kshatriyas have fire in their blood. And even as a 5-year-old boy, he couldn't accept this and went to his mother Suniti, who was perhaps maybe Suruchi. Ruchi means taste. Maybe Suruchi had a better body or something like that. But Niti means like the Niti Shastra is like the laws and teachings, how to solve our problems in material society. So maybe she was more intelligent. But she agreed with her co-wife that yes, she's right. You have to go take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And where to find him, I'm not really sure. Generally, people go to the forest to find the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Dhruva Maharaj, with his blood boiling, he's okay, I'm going to do just that. And Narad Muni, with his omniscience, was perceiving all these things and went and okay, and went to Dhruva Maharaj. Okay, you're just a little boy. Don't you like running around and playing sports with your friends? And you know, when you get older, then you can come back and do this mystic yoga process. It's too hard for a boy like you. So just come back later. And then Dhruva Maharaj completely, he's like, okay, I'm sorry. You've given very wonderful instructions, Narad Muni, but my mind cannot accept them. Like, I'll tell you what I want. I want to get a place bigger than my father. I want to get a place bigger than my grandfather. And who's his grandfather? It's Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma rules over the entire, one of the entire material universes. So he wants to get a place higher than the material universe. And I really want to stick it to my mother. I can't stand that she did that. There's no way I'm leaving without trying to do that. And if you can't help me, someone else will. And so Narad Muni was testing him, and eventually gave him the instruction. Okay, so you chant this mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and you do this deity worship, special deity worship, where you use water and mud. You can make deities out of many things, like we have our beautiful deities here. I think is Nitai Gaur made up from wood, and then we have made from marble. Well, and then of course the deities are all transcendental, but you can also have a painting, like painting here, painting there. You can approach the Lord through these means. You can also have a form within the mind, like we hear in Nectar of Devotion about the Brahmana, he was poor, but of course in their mind you can be as rich as you want. You can just meditate. Oh, okay, here, Lord, here's the golden, golden necklace and golden ornaments and the freshest flowers and the best water from all the places of pilgrimage all throughout India. And like that, he was worshiping the Lord within his mind. And so the deity can also be made of dirt. And the way that works is that the deity is made, then you do the pran pratishtha, you pray that the deity enters into the form you've created, then you do your worship, and then you pray that the deity leaves and thankful for accepting your service, and then you can destroy the form. And so this is the daily practice of Dhruva Maharaj. And he would also perform mystic exercises, pranayama and some yoga asana with his meditation. So he would do some deity worship and try to please the Lord, and then he would try to meditate on the Lord. And in the beginning, he was so serious that he immediately started doing 3-day fasts. And only every 3 days, 2 days eating nothing, the third day he would eat some berries, whatever he could find around. After doing that for a month, he became so purified by his yogic practice that every 6 days he was only eating a little salad. He would find a little raw spinach, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and he was just eating that, raw salads every 6 days. Then he was getting so purified after the next month that he was able to just drink a little bit of water once a week, once every 9 days. To drink some water, then go back to his meditation and his deity worship. And the Narad Muni also gave him the bona fide instructions of what the Lord's form looks like. So when he was meditating on the Lord's form. And he became so purified that in the last month, it wasn't eating berries, he wasn't eating salads, dried leaves, he wasn't drinking water, he wasn't even breathing, except once every 2 weeks. Every 12 days, he would just take another breath of air. And meditating on the Lord, he was entering in to basically the senses of the Lord, and he became in such intimately united in yoga with the form of the Lord he was meditating on, that his breathing, because he was stopping all his breathing, it became linked with the universal breathing, and all the demigods started choking up, and they're like, "What the heck is going on?" Never happened before. So just in a few months, Dhruva Maharaj had a very powerful purification in doing completely intense tapasya, and he got the result. And now we're hearing in this 9th chapter, the Lord appears to him and blessed him. But he wanted to say something, but he's only 5 years old. He doesn't, and he hasn't even been going to school the last 6 months. He's just been meditating, so he didn't have much to say. So the Lord, understanding this, touched his conch shell to his head, and then he was able to speak wonderful glorification of the Lord. And then the Lord's now telling him what's going to happen. Okay, so you've reach your perfection. You're going to remember me at the end of life. Like, that's a pretty good blessing. That's where we're actually right now, all of us are trying to do the same thing Dhruva Maharaj is doing, except we are taking a little longer than 6 months. And we're not engaged in intense austerities. Maybe some of us might not eat on Ekadasi once every 14 days, but then we're eating and drinking every single other day. Whereas he was starting out, he was doing 2 days fasting, and then the third day he was eating, anukalpa prashadam, not even hot, just cold berries from the forest. And so luckily, this is not really, the Lord understands that, all our bodies here in Kali Yuga can't take such tapasya, and nor do we need to take such tapasya. We should always the only tapasya we need is to remember the Lord, to remember that the Lord is actually a living entity like us, He's conscious being, except He's the supreme conscious being. And so if we just understand our position in relation with the Lord, and we're always aware of that, that's the meditation. And if we're aware of that through our entire life and we practice, that's our whole practice. When we're going in the morning, we're chanting our prayers to Guru, and we're just glorifying how is the Guru remembering Krishna. He's remembering Krishna so much that he's the ocean of good qualities. He's always doing kirtan. If you go through the verses, he's always doing kirtan and becoming ecstatic, remembering the Lord's position, remembering his position in everyone's. Because the truth is ecstatic. He's always worshiping the deity form of the Lord. He's always honoring prasadam. Like Prabhupada saying, in previous ages, they would give charity to everyone. Like we hear in Mahabharata, Yudhisthira Maharaj had, I believe Draupadi was in charge of reception, or who was in charge of giving gifts? Does anyone remember Mahabharata? Duryodhan, yeah, he was in charge of giving gifts to everyone that came to the Ashvamedha Yagya that Yudhisthira Maharaj was trying to perform, or Yurajasuya Yagya that he was trying to perform. And so everyone got a gift according to their position. And they're saying in the Vedas, when you perform great sacrifices, you must give not only to the Brahmanas, but to the Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. But in this day and age, it's said that no sacrifice is complete without giving in charity. And of course, the way that we give charity is through giving prasadam, making sure people have prasadam. So as a note, if anyone comes to the temple, then we should make sure to do our best that they get some sort of prasadam, even if they have to leave or something like that. I'm sure y'all are doing that. And then the yagya, there's different yagyas, but kalar dosa nide rajan asti eka mahagunan kirtana neva krishnasya mukta sangam param rajet krishna varam tvasya krishnam sango pangastra parshanam yagnai sankirtana prior yajanti hi sumedesaha. So those, if we're trying to follow the Vedas and understand that we should always anta narayana smriti, that we should always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna, and that the best method for that is to get a bunch of us together and chant his glories. The meaning of Sankirtan is meaning many people get together and chant the name, the qualities, about the form and about the pastimes of the Lord, all for the purpose of keeping our mind focused on the Lord. And the main thing is Nam Sankirtan, the holy name. And the main Nam Sankirtan we're given is the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And so the purpose of this is that we can all remind each other, and when we're chanting the holy name, this will purify the atmosphere and we'll be able to remember the Lord more deeply. And this is the most valuable thing we can actually make use of our human form of life. One thing we can, thinking about reflecting on Dhruva Maharaj, Rupa Goswami gives us some keys to bhakti in his Upadeshamrita. And I think Dhruva Maharaj says, Utsahan Nischarya Daryat Tatat Karma Pravartanat Sango Tyagat Satovrite Sadbir Bhakti Prasiddhyati. So to achieve siddhi in bhakti, which means to remember the Lord, especially at the time of death, which is what Dhruva Maharaj attained, you need to utsahan, be enthusiastic, Nischarat Dharyat, endeavor with confidence and patience. So Dhruva Maharaj was so enthusiastic and so confident. He immediately, even going against seemingly what Narad Muni was first trying to instruct him, but he was so enthusiastic and so confident that he was willing to do anything. And I think that's one amazing thing. That's why we can hear this over and over again, because don't we all need to be a little more enthusiastic? Um, this will, Prabhupada will say, like, if you don't feel like dancing, you're not enthusiastic to dance, just try to fake it a little bit, and then eventually the enthusiasm will come. And who's experienced that? Who's ever not wanted to dance and then danced and then it ended up being ecstatic? Yeah. And so I guess that's without much more waffling and wondering. I just maybe wanted to hear from you all if someone wanted to answer my question of what do you think Lord Chaitanya and Gadadhar Pandit were talking about when they were talking about Dhruva Maharaj? That's the question. I mean, like, what kind of qualities would be, in other words, it must be ever fresh, ever new, all these hundreds of times. So what kind of things may they have reflected on and churned in their churning of the ocean of Dhruva Maharaj's great qualities? Determination. Do you want to say a little something about that? Please deliver this microphone. Hare Krishna.
Dhruv Maharaj was he was just a 5-year-old, and we can't say a 5-year boy can't be that much determined. But he had that strong determination to get the Lord, to get the darshan of the Lord. So that's very special quality of Dhruv Maharaj.
Even when we're 25 or 55 or 105, we hardly have that determination. But actually, by hearing about the good qualities of others and meditating on them, we can actually bring those qualities to ourselves. So it said you should be very careful about meditating on the bad qualities of others, because it's said in this material world, every endeavor is covered by some fault. And if we meditate on the bad qualities, we're also going to bring that to ourselves eventually. So it's more or less, of course, we need to deal with some qualities sometimes if they're creating too much of obstacles. But if we just meditate on how Dhruva Maharaj is completely determined, okay, Dhruva Maharaj gave up all these things, maybe I can wake up at 4:30 and come to Mangal Arati and chant my rounds. If Dhruva Maharaj can do all that, at least I can do this. Dhruva Maharaj is giving up eating for all these things. Maybe I can fast nicely on once every 2 weeks for Ekadasi. If he can fast and only breathe once in every 12 days. And he's only 5 years old. Or yeah. So this is one wonderful quality. Okay, I want to hear from someone else. Oh, wait for the mic. Near the pillar.
So in search of glass pieces, I found the Lord. This is what I learned from Guru Maharaj. When the right spiritual master is in our life, who is guiding us, where I am always searching for the glass pieces in this material world. But if with the mercy of the spiritual master, I can go back to Godhead. All glory to Srila Prabhupada and the spiritual master. This is what I learned from Guru Maharaj.
Yeah, I've heard this too. It's actually not in the Bhagavatam. It's in Chaitanya Charitamrita, but it's referenced in some other Padma Purana or some other Shastra. I can't exactly remember. But yeah, this is a wonderful saying that Dhruva Maharaj is saying, I was searching for broken shards of glass, like fake, like if you've ever gone to like a cheapo jewelry store, there's like fake glass jewelry that you can get. And it's very cheap, $5 for like a whole necklace or something. Whereas if you want to go to the Diamond District in New York and you want to buy a whole diamond necklace, that's like priceless, $50,000 or something. So Dhruva Maharaj said a nice metaphor that I've been looking for broken shards of glass, meaning like this kingdom that I wanted and this embarrassment that I had because I didn't have power and all these material desires. That was broken shards of glass. I just wasted my time with the fake thing. And now I found you, my Lord, in service to you, thanks to my spiritual master. I'm so indebted that it's like finding a completely invaluable Chintamani touchstone gem that can turn something else into a diamond. What to speak of, itself. So it's a completely priceless, valuable treasure. And I feel he actually, Dhruva Maharaj, also before his endeavor, we could talk about the dangers and the obstacles of bhakti, which Rupa Goswami says. Atyahara priya is people say the verse if you know the verse. Atyahara priyasyascha prajalpo niyamagraha janasangaschaloyam cha shardvir bhaktir vinashati. So you could say Atyahara prayas. He may have been a prayasi, one over endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to attain. So but a very difficult endeavor to attain material benefits. And what did that happen? It delayed his union with the Lord for 60,000 years, or however long he had to be the king of the universe. What you're thinking, yeah, the king of the universe, oh, is that really a punishment? But for a devotee, it is. Dhruva Maharaj was upset about that. That was his broken shards of glass that he was chastising himself. Why did I have that? Why did I see that? So thank you, Prabhu. Okay, Tulsi and Shama Kishore.
Yeah, I think one important lesson for us is that Dhruva Maharaj is given as an example as someone who started his spiritual journey with material motivation, but then at the end we see that he got complete success in the spiritual journey. And that's why that's very, very relevant story for us, because most of us, we are not clear about this. And anyway, we want to serve Krishna and we want to make some spiritual advancement. But the thing is that once you step on the path of bhakti, gradually you achieve complete success. This is the view.
That's a really good point. It said that to become a jnani, it's necessary to take sannyas. You want to start becoming a jnani in the path of jnana. If you want to become a yogi, it's necessary to leave the city, leave population centers, and go to the empty forest. And that's just to begin, just to start. If you don't do that, then you're not even starting. But bhakti is available for everyone. The only qualification to enter into bhakti, I mean, it's very easy to enter into bhakti, is that we just need a little bit of faith that this is the thing that will work. Faith in the process, faith in the Lord, faith in the Guru, faith in the Shastras, essentially. And by this, then eventually we'll grow into anartana vritti, and actually just by our consciousness approaching the Lord wants us back more than we want to go back. And so he'll also make so many arrangements for our purification, like forcing us to give class without having time to prepare. And so, like Satsuru Maharaj has a section in one of his books, from imperfection, perfection comes about. So we're all at some imperfect stage, and eventually, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and our Guru Parampara, and by the Shastras, and by Radha Gopijana Vallabh, and Patita Pavan Nitai Patita Pavan Gora Hari, that we will also attain perfection, to be able to have our consciousness always remembering the Lord. And at the time of death, we'll be remembering the Lord and we won't even notice. Like Dhruva Maharaj didn't even notice was it Dhruva Maharaj? Didn't you notice the time of death? Like he just stepped on the airplane and like stepping over death. And so Jai Srila Prabhupada for giving this, and Jai Tulsi Prabhu for getting the last word.
Just want to mention two more things. One thing is that Maharaj, he reached a high success, and we see also his mom got the same. But maybe she was not so serious in her spiritual practice. It's just because of the association of powerful Vaishnava, she got the same destination, very mercy. So also it's a great lesson for us how we may not be the great devotees, we may not be like the Vaishnava, but if we just stick to this powerful movement in which we can get the association of such a powerful Vaishnava, our destination will be also very bright, despite the fact that we may not be like the way the devotees coming from the spiritual. So I think that is another good lesson. And then I was deliberating on what you said in the beginning, why Lord Chaitanya would listen so many times, the same pastime again and again. And I was thinking one answer can be that, well, because if someone is very, very dear to you, you want to hear about you again and again and again. Like, for example, like a mother, if she's very attracted to her child, and you can tell the same pastime to the child again and again and again. For the mother, it's a great pleasure. Why? Because there is love there. So once there is a love in the heart, then it's very easy to listen about the same person again and again. Thank you.
Okay. Say something.
Actually, I was thinking that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu has two desires, internal desire and external desire. So the internal desire, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always burning in separation from Krishna. So, and the second is Mahaprabhu's concern for the living entity. So the first aspect, it's like in Srimad Bhagavatam we hear that how Srimad Radharani, when Krishna disappears, he asks everyone, all the being, that where did Krishna go? So in the same way, like in this pastime, Guru Maharaj, he wants something, he has no idea who will give him that, the kingdom of greater than his grandfather, and Narada only comes. So we find a parallel that Mahaprabhu is thinking that maybe someone will mitigate his separation. So that's an internal thought, and for the other living entities, Mahaprabhu is also thinking that how he can deliver this world by even giving a seemingly material, quote unquote, objective, but giving the spiritual, ultimate spiritual goal, prema. So, these are two things. And I just wanted to read two verses that I felt I was meditating and saying that what verses would specifically they would focus. So this is verse number 61, Canto 4, chapter 8, verse number 61. If one is very serious about liberation, he must stick to the process of transcendent loving service, engaging 24 hours a day in the highest stage of ecstasy, and he must certainly be aloof from all activities of sense gratification. And the next chapter, verse number 11, we recently discussed. Dhruva Maharaj continued, O unlimited Lord, kindly bless me so that I may associate with great devotees who engage in a transcendental loving service constantly, as the waves of a river constantly flow. Such transcendental devotees are completely situated in an uncontaminated state of life. By the process of devotional service, I shall surely be able to cross the nascent ocean of material existence, which is filled with the waves of blazing fire-like angels. It will be very easy for me, for I am becoming mad, to hear about your transcendent qualities and pastime which are eternally existent. I will repeat the last time. It will be very easy for me, for I am becoming mad to hear about your transcendent qualities and pastime which are eternally existent.
We should remember that these qualities never become old. One thing that is explained is that when Radharani is appreciating Krishna's qualities, not only are Krishna qualities becoming more, but Radharani's capacity to appreciate them is also becoming more because of her love. Like if we hear something about someone we love, we can hear it over and over again. But Radharani's love is so great that she's seeing new and newer things that no one else is aware of, and then that's increasing her love. And then Krishna's growing even more new and newer qualities. And it's like this transcendental race, transcendental competition. So thank you, devotees. Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Hari Om Tat Sat. Thank you.
Praise Natbara Gauranga Prabhuji ki.
So,